Hi guys, welcome to today's video. In today's video, we'll continue our beginning of civilization. Well, our restart of civilization. Because the world ended, and it was a nuclear war. And we're at part 2 now. And so, the purple team, which I haven't named yet, purple-pink, is what it is really, haven't named yet. I come up with a name, or maybe I'll get the first one to name it. Well, yeah. With them moving in to discover India, with the people describing a land rich of resources, including different, tasty things. So the purple team decides they will expand into there. I don't know what to name them, to be honest. I'll take name suggestions. My naming is foolish beyond words. With their expansion, they discover a lot of resources, including the Indus Valley they discover. A lot of farming potential and fishing potential together, which makes it a great place to expand to. With them also being expanded, with them getting people to explore these lands out from the Empire, which some of them describe as good lands. And we can call this is located in modern day Iran, with a few people discovering further into India. This nation then decides, after it has discovered this, it will draw its border over here. And they decide to lengthen their border here, because they can't explore all of the known. Well, they can, but then they'd be next to the unknown. Really would mean the unknown becomes known. But then there will be no unknown at some point. With Cyprus being discovered, and the blue team going across North Africa, because they really got nowhere else to expand. And if you got nowhere else to expand, where do you expand? Where are you canning? With the green team expanding up the coasts, even though there's lands that are inland, a lot of them aren't discovered. With it being east of the Carpathian Mountains. I think that is the Carpathian Mountains. Something like that. I might be wrong about that. Not really a good area to expand into. But anyways, with them moving and taking islands over, doesn't mean there's much people going to these islands, because it's so hard to get to islands. With them quickly and rapidly moving into Greece. And then they decide to go down the coast and over to the Greek areas they have. And as you know, there's some problems there. With them moving into modern day Bulgaria. And they learn that up north, it's cooler. Not necessarily always. They don't realize that it's way colder to the east. It's like freezing here. It's next to France. How about this? Not that warm and ever next to Portugal. It's because of water currents too, also affect it, I think. But anyways, with the blue team discovering across Africa, with the people who discovered it moved very fast. The blue team isn't going to expand that fast, no, because that would be a bad idea. They decide to expand to where, maybe by what they're being described, connects to another place. So they move there to realize that idea is a wrong idea, because a lot of ideas back in this time were wrong. And that's what they expand to. With the red team deciding they want to expand up the coast of Africa towards Egypt and over towards the Nile, they want to expand to. So they get people to explore, and people go to the Nile and explore down. And it does go two ways, but they go this way, and they end up in Ethiopia. They don't call it Ethiopia, and then they discover all of these lands we're talking about them expanding to. It makes this pretty good of an idea. So they decide to go take over the land. And they take these lands first as they start moving up. Well, unfortunately, their rival hears about this. The rival is the strongest nation. Or so it looks on paper, they're the strongest nation, maybe not realistically. But with a new discovery being made inside Italy. With the beginning of Italian exploration beginning by the Green Team. With them sending people to explore the lands. They also find San Marino somehow still exists, but anyways. Just kidding. That's not true. It's just a bad thing. I forgot to remove it. With them taking over the Italian lands. And them moving more inland. And them running into the Alpine Mountains. A small group does manage to look a bit, but like exploring and being able to conquer it are two different things. And so the Green Team moves into Italy. Not long before the Blue Team finds out about Italy, they send troops, and they manage to take a big chunk of the land. With the Blue Team thinking they can get all the way across, with nobody noticing. They still don't discover that the continent continues. Before something bad happens, and I mean bad for them. With a new country forming, and they revolt in these lands, they declare themselves the owners of Africa. People thought this nation was strong, so they were wrong. With another area declaring its will to revolt, with the dark blue country forming. In this area, it's a new form of government. Instead of being like an aristocracy, it's an aristocracy. Basically, while the purple team's more of a monarchy, the green team, we can say, is an aristocracy, and that is people are voting. So the only democracy. And it's a direct democracy. So they move people across the country. As this happens, this forms a new government in the blue team, which manages to take Arabia, but this leaves some areas vulnerable to attack, which included the green team. But one of the problems with this is that, well, not only that, was this team, they took all of the holdings in Africa from the red team, not only the blue team. And this color team continues moving until something awful happens. You know how it's been they were conquering North Africa? Well, this full area declares its independence. And their will is not to explore sand, but it does appear so. As they do explore the sand as they move down in Morocco's coast. And then they decide they want to explore the Sahara. But they can't go far in, because the problem is, it's too dry. And so then they do their expansion inland. They discover lots of stuff. I guess at this point, the second open waters are found. And the people exploring into southern Iberia. This nation is starting to become the major power in the North Africa. That one is an African nation, which is pretty strong. When the yellow team started to transition into representation. of representative democracy because the country's getting too big and hard to move people around. And it's a lot of people creating a lot of chaos, so they decide to move ideologies, which also allows them to expand more into this region, with them wanting to follow the coast of this water, which the pink team also does because it's a bit of a cold war between them. But luckily for the yellow team is they just send a boat straight across to here. And they also annexed all of the known land in some areas. And like the green team moves into Crimea. And there should be more nations, but there doesn't seem to be enough. Like something seems the nation being an aristocracy, people are starting to view favorable of like representative countries. With them moving into Crimea and moving over here. With the yellow nation expanding all the way to here. And so, the people of Italy feel like they're not being represented properly, and they revolt. This country wants a direct democracy, but they're not enough going to be able to probably take the full empire over, they realize. With them moving and taking a big chunk of the coast, with them agreeing on a border there at the end, which means this is two countries. And the green team decides to expand to make up for losing land. And this is an aristocracy versus a representative democracy. There's no real, like, communism yet, or democracy, per se. It's not the same as, like, democracy. It's a restrictive democracy, basically. Although it's representative, it's restrictive because they only let men vote and such on. In whatever group they are. You have to be from the country in a lot of these democracies to even be able to vote. Like, it's a very restrictive. You gotta be born in the country, or democracy. It doesn't really apply. With the coast of the Mediterranean finally being discovered, because, well, that's where discoveries are mostly being made. With the Italian country basically probably being known as that. We can call the Italian country because it sounds cool. But as we know, I'm trying to make sure every country has an ideology because it makes more, like, interesting. With this country wanting to expand to form an empire based on to spread the ideas they have. More scientific based. They want science. Unlike the aristocracies where the nobles decide. The only monarchy left is the purple team, and their monarchy realizes we need to be popular or they will kick us out. And the light green team is, well, a autocracy. Basically, it's an authoritarian country led by not a monarch, but an authoritarian, which kind of works like a monarch, basically. It's kind of a monarch, but, like, they have absolute power. No one they need to agree with. And they do awful things. With a new expansion campaign by the blue team being done. Since it's down based around the Nile, this explains its expansion, because, like, Nile civilization spread into Ethiopia. And plus, the area we started all of it and had it all expand from also leads this idea to make sense. With them expanding further into India, with India being, like, this country's desire. India is their desire. And they will do anything to get a hold of India. They're expanding inland in India. They can't really expand north, because then they'll run into the Himalayas. And we all know who can expand through the Himalayas. No one. With them expanding in, they move into India. Seems like a great day for them as they take over this area of India. But not really, because the Indians are being, like, oppressed, treated like lesser in the nation. So, like, eventually they get fed up and they say, enough is enough. And a navy blue country is forming. Wait, never mind. I don't know what to describe this color. Like, that looks nice. Yep, that's how I'm going to describe it. A nice looking color. And so they expand up into here. And now, guys, that's all for part 2. Please like and subscribe. If you want another part, leave a comment. And that's all for today's video. Wild Mapper out. Bye, guys!